Hi Theater Addicts, I'm Jenna here at the Gold Court stage at the BMO Theater Center, and I'm going to be reviewing Blind Date, which is put on by the Arts Club Theater and is a spontaneous theater creation by Rebecca Northen. And this show is actually kind of interesting because it's described as a clown improv social experiment, and what happens is that before the show, an audience member gets chosen willingly to be the blind date for the performer. So each show is going to be different, and there's going to be lots of improv, so that should be fun. And what I'm interested in seeing is how the performer, Tess Dickenstein, how she plays off this blind date who she's never worked with before and never interacted with. So that shall be interesting to see how she'll be able to put on this entertaining show for the audience with someone like that. So yeah, I'll tell you how it goes with the show. Bye. Hi Theater Addicts. So I just finished watching Blind Date. It was quite the energetic and fun performance. I really enjoyed it. It had, like, a lot of the spontaneity and surprises and, just fun, weird, wacky stuff that improv, good improv usually have. So that was, always fun to see. In terms of content warnings, it does have mature content in it. It will vary from show to show, but I'm fairly certain, because the topic is a blind date, so sex talk will most likely crop up in all the shows. To what extent, it will vary from show to show, but that will be in it. But yeah, for the show itself, the guy that they chose to be the blind date, I think he was a really good choice. He had a good wit and banter with the main performer, and I guess you could say chemistry, and he had a good, I guess you could say stage presence in a way. I don't know. But yeah, I could see the show kind of being less or more enjoyable depending on who the blind date person is, and so he was definitely a good fit. There was laughter throughout the show, and he did bring his own comedic humor to it, so that did bring a nice element to the show. But of course, also, the funniest parts were when he was super confused and just I don't know what's going on, and the weird wackiness that was happening around him, as often to happen in improv. So yeah, that was good. But yeah, they do set good rules at the beginning of the show, and sort of boundaries or ways to make sure that the person who is the blind date knows that if they're uncomfortable or anything, they can say time out or sort of pause the show, and just they want to make sure that they're feeling right because they're volunteering to be put up into this kind of awkward and sort of almost embarrassing situation. So they do want to make sure that the person who is the blind date is taken care of and also has a good time in their own way. So if that is something that you're interested in doing, you'll be taken care of. Though I do say it's only the men who they're choosing, which I feel 2018, they could, I think it would be interesting if, they opened it up to be anyone, really. Because there isn't really, sure, it's a date, but, this day and age, anyone could date anyone. So I think the show could be, it would be nice to see, them opening it up to any gender being part of that show. That's just, a suggestion. I do like how, the story sort of, or the play, how it develops, it sort of becomes a little story in its own way. So there, it's not just one long scene, I guess you could go, because there are times when it does sort of drag, or kind of there's awkward conversations, which I guess happens, especially in this case where it is a blind date, so they're getting to know each other. And so there are those conversations of, who are you? Where do you come from? Where did you grow up? Let's talk about the weather. those conversations, well, they did prop in the show, and so they did there was like conversations that Dre ignored. It was a simplistic set, but they did make good use of props. There was some funny use of props as well, which will be fun to see if you decide to go see the show. Sometimes the sound or lighting cues were a bit off, mostly because it is improv, so they may not have anticipated the move that the performers were going to make at the time. So sometimes they were like a couple seconds behind, or if it's really obvious, then they made a big joke about how like the sound was super off. But you know, that kind of added to the show in a way as well. If you want to see the show Blind Date, it is at the Goldcorp Theater at the BMO Theater Center, and put on by Arts Club Theater and by Spontaneous Theater Creations by Rebecca Northen. And it's playing until December 30th, so yeah, you have time to catch it if you want to see it. And yeah, and if you've seen the show, comment and tell me what you think about it, and subscribe to our Theater Addicts YouTube channel. And if you want to see more Theater Addicts reviews, head over to theateraddicts.com. Yeah, I'll see you around. Bye.